All right, everybody. We are here talking about resales. We're going to try to do this once a month and talk about a featured resale. So I am here with Doug Yntema, who is my resale guru. Is that the best way to describe you, Doug?
Sure, I'll take that.
All right, so difference, I guess, between Doug and I, and we've worked together now for a couple of years. So obviously, franchises, that's kind of what I live, eat, breathe. But I do have people, and I've worked with people that are interested in a resale for the obvious reasons, right? At first, I think, it's going to be easier startup. I'm going to save a whole bunch of time. And I am quick to point out, like, I am not a business broker. I don't specialize in resales, but I have a guy, right? So talk a little bit, Doug, about what you do from the resale component in franchising or overall.
I'm a member of the same organization that Lisa, and that's how we met. So I'm the director of franchise resales for the FBA. And what we do is we help our franchisor members when they have a franchisee that's looking to exit, value their business, and then market their business. Sometimes there is a shorter path to buying a business that's operational, and you do skip some of that, but there can be times where it's not a good fit or there isn't a good resale in your area. So that's kind of where we differ, and I'll rely on Lisa often when I get somebody that calls in on a resale and it's not a good fit or it's not in the right location and open new. So it's kind of that balance between, yes, it's great to get something that is already existing, but it might not be the right fit. So we kind of work together in making sure that people find the right business for them. And if it happens to be a resale, then we put you in there and go from there to get it done.
Absolutely. And so I think and I've kind of shouted this, I think, from every mountaintop that I can, is that my thing is always, let's find the right fit. Let's create what's best for geography, time, money, your background, your skill set. And when we start talking resales, some of that needs to go out the window, right? Sometimes there's a perfect storm. We've had a couple where it's like, oh, okay, this is totally going to work out for you. But I think our biggest limitation in all of this is going to be geography. If you live in Lakeland, Florida, then your background and your skill set and all the stuff is wonderful. And if you want to resale, that's great, as long as it's in Lakeland, Florida.
And that's the trick is finding those. So
yeah, absolutely. So we're going to use these kind of segments to feature a resale. And so we can kind of talk about what Doug and I look at and what this makes sense. And we'll talk about the area. And so I think it might answer some questions for the audience watching of what to kind of be aware of when looking for a resale, and we'll just see where it goes. So talk to us about, I know that we have a mosquito pest control business right now that you've been saying, hey, this is a great opportunity in Virginia. So talk a little bit about that opportunity and why in your mind it's standing out as like, okay, this is a good one. I'm surprised it's still out there, because that's the other thing with resales, right, Doug? They go fast.
Yeah, you have to. It's difficult with resales because we can't give too much information up front because there's confidentiality, because there's financials involved in employees and customers. So it's always that balance of, I get hired to go sell your business, but they say don't tell anybody about it. So that's what we work with our broker network to find those buyers. So one of the things I really like about this one is it's established. So the reason that she's selling is the franchise agreement is 10 years and she's coming up on that. And she has decided that she doesn't want to sign up for another 10 years. She wants to start moving towards retirement. She's built a very nice business. It's profitable. What I like about the Mosquito space is it actually works. So I live in Michigan and we have a cottage in the upper part of Michigan, and there are tons of bugs, mosquitoes especially, and it's crazy. I bet we started using this service and our mosquitoes are down like 80%. So it's very sticky as far as customers. Once you get a customer, they tend to stick around, and it's reoccurring revenue. The other thing I like about it is it's seasonal, so you are very busy, but only about 8 months out of the year. Right. So this is in Virginia, so it gives you that kind of lifestyle where you have some time off and still are able to make a very nice living. When you're looking at a resale, it's important to get the historical financials and go through them, verify that the cash flow that is being advertised is actually there. So working with someone who understands on how to look at the profitability of a business and, the direction that it's headed in, and then also understanding what if the numbers aren't that great and somebody's looking to exit, maybe it just wasn't a good fit. They didn't use Lisa to buy their business and got the wrong money. So, that could be too. And then
right? Like
it
not
does.
not all resales that are selling where the business is not necessarily making a ton of money is not always franchisor fault. We can still look into that business and understand there are owners successful in this business. This one just happens not to be. So yeah, we're going to look at that, but it's also, there's a little bit of a mirror test there. It wasn't right for them.
You really need to say, why wasn't this working? And if it's just because, it's oversaturated, or there's a lot of different reasons, but the number one call we get are people looking to retire. They've built nice businesses. Their kids don't want it, and they're ready to move on. The other is health issues. Husband, wife, partner, wife gets sick, husband gets sick, and they're not able to focus on the business, and it starts going down. There's a lot of reasons why there's franchise resales out there. So it's important to get the package, to go through it, and to really understand the overall picture of the business, and then that will help you decide. We're able to do that with our listings, but if not, get an accountant to review it with you and take a good look at it. But, resales will sell sometimes at a higher rate, but when you walk right into cash flow, employees, it's proven already it's working in an area, it can be good, but they are difficult to find. So I tell people to keep an open mind to both. If you happen to find a resale, great. Understanding the process of buying a resale and how businesses are valued, I think is important for people looking to buy a new, because eventually you're going to sell, right? So understanding businesses, that how they're valued and how your exit will go in 5 to 10 years are important. And Lisa can guide you through all of that.
Well, thank you. And I think this is one of the reasons this is we're going to air quote, this is a good one, right? Recurring revenue model, not a necessarily highly trained workforce, right? If it's a seasonal workforce, it's great. They can come in, we can train them pretty quick to go out and perform the service. This isn't something that is going to take, my business, nurse practitioners and medical assistants and really high, to try to get to understand them. And the seasonality of it is, what is the franchise owner doing? And is the seasonality of it, are they able to generate enough revenue? What do they do for those 4 months out of the year? I think it's probably a good thing to talk about.
In this particular case, it's a good one. So I can share some high level financials, but you can get the idea of what the profitability of this business is. In the last year, they did just under $700,000 in sales, which doesn't sound like a lot, but she made their take home after adding back any owner benefits was about $250,000.
All right.
So you can see that is a substantial amount of money. She has employees. She's not running around, doing this herself. So an owner would step in, buying that reoccurring customer base, then learning the business and still being able to grow it throughout the area. But you would mainly focus on making sure that the customers are happy, taking care of the billing, giving the initial quotes, those types of things is what your role would be. So it's pretty simple as far as being able to learn the business and get going. It doesn't require a lot of specific knowledge other than just customer service.
I think it's part to remember, guys, when you're looking at a franchise resale, they've been scrutinized and trained, and the systems are already in place. Sometimes the mom and pops can have some skeletons in the closet. The books aren't always quite as clean as we want them to be, right? And that owner might be like, okay, I'm out of here. Bye. and it's nice to know the franchisor is going to be there to, do the proper training and get you up to speed, and they're responsible as well, right?
And the other nice thing about being part of a franchise, especially if it's your first business, is other owners. I like to say baking a cake, follow the recipe,
Yep.
So if you're looking at somebody who's highly successful in another area that's a franchisee, get to know that person, and, continue to do the same thing. So you're not, once that, a lot of people get nervous about buying a resale and having the owner leave, but you have a lot of support that you can still rely on. And most owners want their business to be successful, so they're going to work with you and help train you and, those things. Most people don't want to just walk away and be done.
Perfect. Well, we're going to share this for sure with our whole list. Definitely, I'll specifically reach out to those people in Virginia with this one to say, hey, let's take a look at this one. What a perfect time of the year to get into this business.
Or northern North Carolina area too. That's close. So yeah, this is a perfect time of year because the season doesn't really start until April, May.
Right. They can get trained, get that business transferred. These aren't things that happen overnight, and then really hit the ground running for the busy season, the money-making season.
Yep. And it will SBA financeable. So not a huge problem there. Should be able to step right in.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll try to do this once a month and feature something different. And hopefully for those of you that aren't in Virginia, the conversation still makes sense as you start to wrap your head around what are you looking for in a resale opportunity. So thanks so much, Doug.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. If you're ready to take the next step, Integrity Franchise Group is here to help. Click the link below or reach out to us today to schedule an appointment. Let's work together to solve that franchise puzzle and turn your business dreams into reality. We cannot wait to connect with you.